All right, guys, good morning. Welcome back. So, this morning we'll do some random news items. Let me make some adjustments here. All right, I think the sound level should be good like this. All right, welcome back. So, got my coffee ready. Delicious. Coffee is provided by my Keurig machine. Yeah. Background music again provided by Dad. Thanks, Dad. Love you. All right. So, if you are technically curious about all this, let me go ahead and do this here. So, for those of you watching this podcast, I am running Linux Mint Mate. So, let's go ahead and transition here. All right. So, I have OBS Studio. I don't have a lot of refinements or adjustments here or graphics. I like to keep this simple. Transition back and forth. So those of you who watch this later, this is how it's done. If you ever wanted to try this, I recommend getting a good mic, to say the least, if you wanted to do this. All right, so let's minimize this. The first thing we should talk about before we talk about Tequila, I think there was a song named Tequila, right? Da 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 da, something like that. Yeah. Anyway. The writer's strike is over. Yay! So some of my favorite shows can come back next year, such as Fubar with Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Old Man, and of course Star Trek Strange New Worlds. This is from WGAcontract2023.org. I'm not going to read all of this. Here's a summary. There's a lot here. I guess it's a 3-year contract through 2026. One of the sticking points was artificial intelligence. Let's see here. AI cannot write or rewrite literary material, and AI-generated material will not be considered source material under the agreement, the NBA, meaning that AI-generated material can't be used to undermine a writer's credit or separated rights. Yeah. The Writers Guild of America reserves the right to assert the exploitation of writers' material to train AI is prohibited. Okay, so look, there's a lot here. We got 7, 8, 9, 10 points. Writers pay. Without good writers, you don't have good movies. Hollywood releases around, 500, 600 movies a year. And maybe 10 are really good. Maybe. It's not a lot. It comes down to the writing. So we have some writer-producer weekly minimums, up to 9 weeks, up to 20 weeks, and so on. This is weekly minimum. So if you're a writer, you're going to make about 11,000 a week, up to 9 weeks, 10 to 19 weeks, 9,000. Anyway, I won't go through all of this. So there's a lot going on here. How many points are there? 10? 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 16 points. Anyway, check out WGAcontract2023.org. I'm happy for everyone, for them, and for us, the fans of our favorite shows. All right, let me get another sip of coffee here. All right, looks like we're all in the green. If you're curious about this computer originally had Windows 7. It is a Lenovo, great for running Linux and Windows. I dual boot this with Windows 11, if you're curious. Linux Mint 21 Vanessa, the Mate version, maxed out with 8 gigs of memory. The processor is from the dinosaur Jurassic era. That still works. Oh my, that was yeah, from the Jurassic era, yeah. Anyway, Linux Mint. on a Lenovo. Amazing. All right, let's move on here. I'll check the chat later. A Linux OS called Tequila, because why not? The first forensic distribution in Latin America. It makes sense. I don't think there would be a Tequila Linux in Wyoming. This is from securityintelligence.com. My first thought was like, what's that show? NCIS and Law and Order and a bunch of those. Yeah, it's forensics, crime solving, I guess. Students from the National Autonomous University of Mexico developed Tequila OS 2.0, the first Linux distribution in America, specializing in performing forensic analysis in Espanol. All right, Tequila OS 2.0 is based on GNU Linux, easy to use. All you have to do is download the file, create the virtual machine, run it. Let's see here. I guess this is lightweight. Fairly lightweight from what I saw. I'm personally waiting for Cocaine OS to be released. Now, before you guys laugh, okay, before you guys laugh at that Cocaine OS, keep in mind that there was a movie called Cocaine Bear, and I saw it. I wish I didn't. Inspired by true events. Well, sort of, not real. I don't know, just watch the movie. But there's a movie, Cocaine Bear. So don't laugh at Cocaine OS if it ever comes out. And that's all I'm going to say about this. Let me grab another sip of coffee. Sorry. All right, let's talk a little bit about Chrome OS, Chromebooks. Google rolls out big OS update for Chromebooks, adds material redesign. Bunch of changes here, I guess, to the looks of this thing. The one thing that caught my attention was this. Chromebooks are also gaining adaptive charging to help prolong battery life. I am all for that. This will be Chrome OS update 117. I'm curious. And by the way, I'm running a Chromebook that expired last year. Yeah, and I did a short screen recording of that. I'll show you that in the future, but it still runs. So yeah, those expired Chromebooks are not necessarily expired, if you know what I mean. So thank you, Google. All right. What I do use sometimes, like this today, is Linux Mint. I use the Mate version, but Linux Mint 6 Fe has been released. This is the Debian edition. If you prefer to have something based off of Debian versus Ubuntu. I've used both. They're both good. I think non-Debian edition might be easier for newbies. Look here, it's the system requirements: 2 gigs of RAM, 20 gigs of space, 100 gigabytes recommended. Really? 100 gigabytes recommended? That seems like a lot. All right, so they're available. I think all of the Linux Mints now are 64-bit only. There aren't a lot Linux-based systems in 32-bit, well, at least not what I call mainstream. But yeah, there's a few, but not too many. You can go to the Debian site and download 32-bit systems still. But as far as Linux Mint, it's all 64-bit. And Linux Mint is one of my top 3 for Linux users, along with Zorin OS. I've been using this off and on since 2010. Linux Mint since 2008. And Mint and Zorin and Chrome OS Flex, my top 3 Linux-based systems, what I call gold standards for the masses. If you don't care to install or tinker, then just get a Chromebook and you're good for 10 years, Google's announcement. But if you like to download and tinker and have an old machine you want to revive like I did, check out your Zorins and your Linux Mints. You may find these very, very helpful. All right, time for some quick coffee. All right, let me jump in the chat, see who's in the chat here real quick. Let me check the stream, make sure we're still in the green on OBS. It looks like we are. So if anybody's in the chat and wants to say hello, please do. I never thought I would be hooked on Keurig coffee machines, but speaking of cafe, well, what do you know? Steve is in the house. Good morning, sir. How are you? Steve, do you use a Keurig coffee machine, or are you the old-fashioned type? I have both, but it's just faster with the Keurig, so yeah. What's new, Steve? Just chilling this morning with a random stream. I've been waiting for some feedback for the community to see when to do a live show or two. Oh, Keurig at work. We do not have Keurig at work. We have a regular coffee machine. We buy. We take turns buying the big gallon. The gallon. Yeah, we buy a big freaking gallon of coffee. No, it's the big thing of Folgers, big plastic container. You know what I mean. Oh, a 4-day weekend birthday. Happy birthday, my dear friend. Well, to that, a little bit early for wine, but cheers to you with my coffee, and happy birthday. If I lived close to you, we would hang out for a night, but anyway, cheers. But yeah, I just did some quick news. The writer's strike appears to be over. Thankful for that. I would ask my dad, because he was in the actors union for years, but he's been out of it for a while, so he probably doesn't know much about this. But I may call him this weekend and ask him any thoughts about it. But I'm happy for everybody, including us, the fans. From what I read, it seems more fair, long overdue, as far as the paying the writers what they are worth. I mean, you need good writers to have good stories, good series, good movies. And they deserve all that they can get. Anyway, congrats. Yeah, a road trip can be in the picture. Yeah, I did. This is something I had talked about, traveling somewhere not too far from home and just, hooking up with at least some of you guys. But then the pandemic hit, and it just changed life. I mean, if we were to be completely honest, it just changed things. And it looks like a variant of COVID now is on the rise. I have a cousin who's a nurse, a couple of friends who were nurses, and yeah, it's not as bad, I don't think. But yeah, I had planned to do it. The closest thing I did to a road trip is when I invited Stephanie to come visit here for a couple concerts. I set her up in a hotel. Wonderful, terrific human being. Of course, that was the summer before COVID, and I was planning on doing it again. And anyway, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but yeah, it would be nice to hook up with you and do something live, but we'll see. So you have plans for the 4-day weekend, or just gonna chill? This song by my dad, I don't know if you can hear it. It's the "Oh Hey I'm Screwed" song. This never ges old. Of all the love songs my dad has sent me during the pandemic, when he sent me this song, it's... Anyway. Chill, dinner, car maintenance, all the fun stuff. I hear you. Yeah. Anyway. Your friends are your friends until you need them. Oh, just some of the translated lyrics from my dad's song. He definitely has a creative mind. Yeah, I'm actually doing this live stream, doing my morning stretches. Retirement in 43 days. Steve, congrats. I was planning on retirement if I could have sold my dad's film. That was the plan. So if that day ever comes, I can sell my dad's film. I think, well, I mean, I'm not going to retire and do nothing because I just have too much energy. And I'm grateful for that. But yeah, I was planning on retiring a few years ago, but that has been delayed. I wish my dad had kept all his Hollywood contacts, you know, but when he retired 20 years ago, he thought he was done. And I'm like, no. It's like that commercial for like Bounty. No. Anyway. If we can ever get this film sold, you guys will be the first to know. Well, one of the first to know. You can finally see this terrific little film of his. It's been such a long freaking journey. Anyway, congrats on your upcoming retirement, Steve. Well deserved, I'm sure. So Steve, I forgot, what are you using now? Is it it's not peppermint, is it? No. Pop OS, right? You tried to get Vince to pay for trip to Sydney, but he's kind of cheap. That would be a little. Well, here's the deal. If we can get my dad's film sold, my dear friend Steve, you and I are going to see Vince. You can bring your wife. I'll pay for it. How's that for a deal? Because if that ever happens, that means you and I are both retired. And we'll go see Vince. Pop OS, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen Vince jump in on the weekend private chats. I know you've been busy and he's been busy, so yeah, I really don't know what to schedule him anymore, I'll be quite honest. So I'm just doing I may do something tomorrow night. Is tomorrow Friday? I lost track. I think it is. Yeah, I think a trip to Australia would be fantastic. Australia, mate. So this morning, just did some updates on Linux Mint. Waiting for the next OS update for the Chromebook. That news from Google, 10 years of guaranteed updates on Chromebooks is special. Google listened. Who knew? So I'm getting an error here on the YouTube Studio. Primary and backup streams are configured incorrectly. Okay. Looks okay to me. Steve, you fine-tune OBS Studio more than I do. I'm not sure if you ever mess with primary. Why would I mess with the backup stream? I don't know. I got it. When I have time, I might have to look into that. But yeah. But yeah, this machine is from 2011, dual boot with Windows 11. Who knew that Windows 11 was lightweight? Hey, I installed it on a machine, just a dual core from back then. It runs Windows 11. So backup stream, no, yeah. I don't know, maybe I accidentally did something in OBS Studio. Actually, I was thinking the first thing I'm doing if we sell my dad's movie, I'm upgrading the entire office here. Everything is going to be new. Everything. The TV, the desk, the computer, the carpeting, the paint, everything is going to be new. Why not? Because I deserve it. Actually, my next purchase has to be a new phone. I believe this year is the last year for security updates on my Motorola phone. I think they max out at 3 years. So I'm going to have to get another one. That'll be my next purchase. Hey, how about that new Linux phone from Purism? Yeah, it has specs from 5 years ago, and it's only $2,000. You know, these marijuana dispensaries, these are getting way out of hand. The underwear, W-A-R-E, what on the phone? Yeah, you know, I buy these Motorola phones like, you know, 1 year old that are still, you know, in new condition for $200, and I'm good. I don't need a $1,000 or a $2,000 phone. You know, definitely don't need a Linux phone for $2,000. Anyway, hello, Ben. Ben just popped in the house. How you been? Oh, the underwear on the new stuff. Yeah, I don't. You know, I don't understand it. You know, say someone's into Linux more than we are and wants to, you know, support projects and, you know, wants to get a pure Linux product like the Purism Linux phone. It's $2,000. I mean, well, you guys tell me. Yeah, I've been happy with my Motorola phones. I can't complain. So I'm looking into the Motorola Edge 5G. Yeah, phone prices, Motorola, for the most part, has been fair. Fair priced, it seems. Again, I don't usually buy them when they first come out. I wait about a year, you know, and then I'll just go online on Amazon or whatever and search for something that's a year old, still new or in like new condition. But very lucky with Motorola, so that's what I'm going to go with. Yeah, when the phones first are released, you will pay the price. But if you can wait 6 months to a year, then you can usually find a deal. Right now, Motorola's having on their website really good prices on their phones, from what I saw. But I'm looking specifically for the Motorola Edge 5G. Get a case for it, and I'm good to go. The Pixel phones are good. I almost thought about buying a Google Pixel phone, but I think the Motorola, for about the same price, has a bigger battery. And you know me, it's all about power. Or wait, it's all about power. Thank you, Uncle Schwarzenegger. Yeah, I think it's time to get a 5G. Supposedly here, T-Mobile has the best coverage. I don't know about that, but all right. I need to get a quick refill of coffee. I was going to end this, but since you guys are in the house, I'll stick around. Let me get a refill. Okay, I'm back. These podcast streams, by the way, once I have time, I'll just edit these and I'll put these on the Patreon, on the TOS Today Patreon page. A lot of them, some of them I know you can, there's like a free download. During the pandemic, a lot of the Patreons dropped off for various reasons. Anselm is on there, still on the Patreon page. He's not here this morning, but he's the he's the lone survivor. Thank you, Anselm, for sticking around. And I left it up for him. He prefers that versus the PayPal. All right, another sip here. Yes, Ben, you do. Thank you for sticking around on PayPal. Yeah, on the Patreon page, what I noticed, and I'm not an expert on it, but when people drop off off the Patreon, there's a creator page where people can leave comments on why they left. Some of them was sorry, Toss, wife got sick, or lost my job, or various reasons during the pandemic. Completely understandable. That's why I never really mentioned it that much or pushed it that much. It didn't seem right, but it's there. So I had a couple of, if you haven't seen the video from yesterday, I posted one, two excellent opposing viewpoints on Chromebooks. One guy loved it, one guy hated it, and they both made valid points. Now that's what the community is all about. Share your reviews and still be a human being, a good human being about it. I wonder what the hot tech item this Christmas will be. If there is anybody new watching this by chance right now wants to say hello, please do. I do these sometimes in the morning for the people overseas in different time zones. Sometimes they have a chance to drop in and say hello, which is great. So, again, these are just random morning podcasts. That one comment from yesterday, why he loves his Chromebook or the Chrome OS, he installed it for a family member and they love it. So now he only gets calls asking how are things going versus asking for computer help. So I'm like, wow, a Chromebook saved your relationship with your family. Great. Sort of. I saw where YouTube released a statement that they will allow a little bit more leeway in so-called controversial subjects as long as they're not graphic. Trying to be a little bit more creator friendly, I guess. I mean, I don't really do that here, but I thought that was interesting. Yeah, they were, Ben, cracking down on topics, but it seems like they're a little bit. I guess we have to wait and see. They released a video on the YouTube creator blog, so yeah. Quails is in the house. Good morning. Speaking of somebody overseas, doing terrific. Just chilling out this morning for a little bit with some news stuff I talked about earlier. There is a Linux OS named Tequila. I'm waiting for Cocaine OS. Now, before you start laughing, there is a movie called Cocaine Bear. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway. Yeah, I'll have breakfast here soon. I think there's a song Tequila, right? Da 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 da. I think it goes something like that. Da 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 da. So, Steve, you mentioned car maintenance. What needs done? Oil changes, tune-ups, wash and wax. Oil changes. Yeah, there's a lot of, if you watch car stuff on YouTube, a lot of mechanics are saying do not ever wait 10,000 miles for an oil change, no matter what the car companies say. 5,000 miles usually is what I do, or less. In some cases, 3,000 miles. But once I hit the 5-month mark, that's when I change the oil. CFWW, good morning. I'm trying to think of the craziest name for a Linux-based system that I've ever read. I don't know. The newer Toyotas, they're saying 10,000 miles. I think it's insane. Oh, you know what you're talking about, CFW. Yeah, it's it all comes down to common sense, I suppose, just like anything. But yeah, 5,000 mile oil changes, maybe 6,000, 7,000 max. You know, oil is cheap, engines are not. So, like I said, I've changed them with 3,000 miles. You know, I'm cool with that. Had to change a PCV valve in mine. It was using oil. Didn't smell it, didn't see it. did some research. A clogged PCV valve can do that, and it appears to have solved the problem. It's always something, right? Ben says, I contribute to this, but don't know much about cars. That's okay, man. Don't worry about it. This is just a random. We're just doing random topics now since the news stuff is over. Cars are a necessary headache. It's as simple as that. CFWW, you are 62? Well, join the club. I think during the pandemic, I think we've all felt just a little bit older than what we should be, right? That was exhausting. Ben's a little baby. He's only 32. Anybody else messing with Windows 11 here? Or is it just me? I think Windows 11 is terrific. I'm surprised. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Let's see what's the forecast for Pittsburgh. Scattered showers in the 70s. Wow, I'll take it. Ben has moved to straight Linux. I'm sorry, I prefer gay Linux. Just the way I go. Nah, I'm just kidding. Well, that's cool. I'm mostly Linux here, between my Linux Mint and my Chromebooks, mostly. But Windows 11 is good. I have a bike, CFW, that's in the garage. It's got a flat tire. I was too lazy this past summer to fix it. I don't think it's that difficult, but yeah, I didn't ride the bike all year. I think the main thing with, computers and CPUs and whatnot, it's keeping them clean, dry, cool as in temperature. I think that's why this machine has lasted, what is it now, 11, 12 years. CFW says, I don't think you can kill a Chromebook. That's true unless you're a kid in school and you keep dropping it. Then you can pretty much expire it. Yeah, but in general, they just keep going and going. Like I said, I have one that expired last year. It's a little slower than it used to be, but it still runs. But of course, I keep it clean and dry, so and I don't use it as a basketball either. All right, let's give this 5 minutes or so, then we'll wrap it up. Anybody else is watching wants to say hello for this random morning stream so I can have my breakfast and start my day. Not with tequila. You know, these morning stretches feel great. I would imagine a longtime Mac user is probably not going to switch to a Chromebook. I would imagine someone who switches to a Chromebook is going to be a Windows user. Just speculation, Ben. So, yeah. You know, people who are spending $2,000 on machines, they're not going to go to a Chromebook. Makes sense. Yeah, 17-inch Acer Refurb Chromebook for $250. Big screen is nice, absolutely. If the machine was built in 2021 forward, I believe that's when the 10-year updates kick in. Somebody posted they were running a 10-year-old Chromebook. Pixel? Something like that. The Chromebook I have flips into a tablet, a rather large tablet, which is kind of ridiculous, but touchscreen, but yeah, they can do a lot. All right, well, I guess we can wrap this up. No other news for this morning. If you missed any of this, of course, you can replay it Linux named Tequila because why not? Makes me want to go out and buy some tequila for the weekend. It's been a while since I've had some tequila. What's that one drink? Tequila Sunrise? What is it? Orange juice and tequila, right? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, guys, thank you all for stopping in. Always a pleasure to chat. And I'll catch you on the next one. Arrivederci, my dear friends. Bye-bye.